Hey, are you a business owner, entrepreneur, or professional? If so, we want you to apply to be a featured guest on our show. My name is Adam Torres, and I host the Mission Matters series of podcasts. I've recorded over 3,000 episodes, and we are just getting started. How do you know if you'd be a good guest to be on the show? Well, only one way to find out, and that's to apply, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We want guests that have a story to tell, guests with a brand, a product, or a service that can benefit my audience of listeners. If this sounds like you, go to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. I'd love to talk to you and get to know more about your story. Again, head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Kyrill Asatur on the line. He's co-founder and CEO over at Centerfin. Kyrill, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Adam.
All right, Kyrill, so excited to talk more about Centerfin today and really the solutions that you're providing for your clients. But before we get into that, I'd like to start with our Mission Matters question. So Kyrill, we at Mission Matters, we amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. So that's our mission here. Kyrill, what mission matters to you?
That's a great question. So we really started Centerfin with this mission statement of shifting the balance of power from Wall Street to Main Street. And what we really mean by that is that we believe that Wall Street, or the capital markets of the United States, is one of the things that makes this country a great country and a world power. However, we also think that over time that Wall Street has gotten kind of too big and too complicated. And because of that, it's effectively extracted a ton of value relative to the value that it creates. And we kind of got obsessed with this quote of create more value than you capture. And so we decided to start Centerfin to effectively deliver value to our clients. And that's what matters to us.
So I like it. So it's you're trying to level the playing field, trying to provide more value to the clients, as you mentioned. Maybe let's go a little bit further into the nuts and bolts of Centerfin. So tell us a little bit more about the products and kind of the options there.
Yeah, sure. So Centerfin is a fiduciary registered investment advisor. So I think your background's actually in a similar space. We really started Centerfin because we, as a team, collectively, myself personally, have always had a really hard time recommending to friends and family that would come to us over the years asking us for financial advice as to what to do with their money. There's this big innovation kind of post-financial crisis where you saw what is dubbed as the robo-advisor rise up. And we looked at that innovation, with a lot of detail, and we're very impressed by the technology aspect of what the robo-advisor did, kind of building a digital experience around financial advice. But when you kind of dug into the investment product itself, really what they were just replicating was, options that were widely available before. So, effectively, some version of a target date fund utilizing low-cost ETFs. And so our background is in the hedge fund industry, and we've been really interacting with large institutional investors our whole careers. And so, the likes of family offices, endowments, foundations, pension funds. And so we have a pretty good understanding as to how these large institutions manage money for the long term. And we said, why can't we replicate that same approach, but do it for individuals? And so that, the next time somebody comes to us and says, what is it that we should be doing with our money, whether it's retirement money or just savings that you have, we can actually point them in this direction. And really the crux of it is utilizing a combination of passive investing strategies, so kind of similar low-cost ETFs, but in a very customized way from our perspective. Then utilizing active investment strategies where we think it makes sense. So in certain parts of the world, parts of the market, We think active investment management makes sense better than passive. And then, very importantly, alternative investment strategies. So obviously, coming from the world of hedge funds, we were always interacting with our institutional clients as their alternative investment in their alternative investment bucket, and so we wanted to be able to offer that to our clients as well. And so that's really what differentiates us, and we believe makes us a new kind of player out there.
So you use the term, and I see it, digitally native wealth management service. Can you explain that a little bit? Because I think it's very specific and well thought out. And you're right, I do come from the space. So when I read that the first time, I'm like, oh, that's different.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. So we have, obviously kind of our guiding star is to deliver value to our clients. But one of the ways that we felt like we could deliver value is by using technology. And so our actual initial product is an app. It's an iOS app. And we felt like that was the best way to kind of deliver the user experience and the product to our clients. But interestingly enough, one of the things we've learned is that we are obsessed with our clients and listening to our clients. And over the last year or so, as we've been building this product, we've learned that about half of our clients are totally happy to, once they kind of understand what it is that we bring to the table, to open up their account, download the app, open up the account, fund the account, and the accounts can be invested based on their risk tolerance and time horizons and other factors. And then about half of our clients actually would like to talk to somebody, whether it be before opening the account or as the account hopefully appreciates over time. And so we've made that available to our clients. So we have kind of this hybrid model where we're digitally native, as you said, meaning that we're kind of app and online first, but we also have made ourselves available kind of similar to a more traditional financial advisor.
No, that's awesome. I love it. And so I mean, the obvious question here is, your startup, you're competing against, very big incumbents. What's your strategy there for customer acquisition?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's one that comes up a lot. And I think, look, at the end of the day, to take a step back, I think if you look historically, across different industries, the disruptors, the innovators are always the winners. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of how long is it going to take and who are they going to be, right? In this case, in our case, the incumbents are, as you mentioned, very well capitalized. They have a lot more capital than we do in order to be able to acquire customers. But I think that one thing that we have that they cannot replicate is this passion and this drive to create value for our clients. And the reason I say that they can't replicate that is because these are, largely these are very large institutions. They're structurally just unable to do what we do. For instance, like I mentioned before, we learned from our clients that, some of our clients are very happy to kind of work on their own, but others would like to talk to somebody. Well, we quickly made that as part of a feature of our product. Something that, if you've, worked for any big institution, which I think you have, in the finance industry, changes like that don't happen very quickly. And we believe that, this next generation of investors, really this wealth transfer that's just beginning, really cares about their financial partner, to help them deal with their finances as being a firm that has kind of similar values and is focused on delivering value. And we think that that's really what, helps us compete.
That's awesome. I'm a big fan of what you're doing. I love it when somebody's coming in with new ideas, really a new take on it, and just giving investors really options. And that's the main thing, is that for people to have options to choose to see where they fit in. So where do you see the company, let's just say, if you had your magic or crystal ball, whatever we want to say, in 5 to 6 years?
Yeah, no, that's a hard question, but and one of the things that I guess we've learned so far is that you can't think too far ahead and just be nimble and flexible. But we really think that the wealth management industry in general is a very, very large industry, as you're familiar with. We don't really think the disruptors, and I think of the disruptors to date as kind of really these robo-advisors that started kind of post financial crisis. We don't really think they've cracked the code yet. And so we think that this is, the opportunity is, tens of trillions of dollars of assets that are out there that are going to be changing hands. And we think that, there's no reason, if we don't do our jobs right and we kind of care about the client at every step of the way, and we make decisions based on what's best for them at every step of the way, that, we can't be a, $50 billion AUM business or north of that, really. The numbers are actually there, and I'm not one to make grandiose statements, but that's really how we think about success, because that's not even going to be scratching the surface in terms of kind of the percentage of the overall industry, but we think that that's very possible.
Fantastic. So, Kyrill, that being said, it's been great having you on the show. Big fan of what you're doing over at Centerfin. If somebody's watching this or listening to this right now and they want to learn more about Centerfin and to follow the journey, what's the best way for them to do that?
So I'm very accessible. I give out my personal email to people all the time, and I actually, I interact with, potential clients all the time myself, and that's Kyrill@centerfin.co. And I'm also fairly active on Twitter, and that's Wall Street Hobbs is my is kind of my ticker on Twitter. So happy to meet people there as well.
Fantastic. Well, Kyrill, again, thank you for coming on the show today. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. Hope you learned a lot. If you did, don't forget, hit that subscribe button. We definitely want you to be a return listener and visitor. And Kyrill, again, thank you for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having us.